Okay, all you techie heads, you think you know your Chinese geezer heater. Mine was fitted in here. The other night it lit, and suddenly it lost heat and went out. Didn't come up with no error, just stopped. So I thought, well, that's weird, I'll start her again. So I started her again, and it come up with E10, which is multiple tries at starting, fan not getting up enough speed. Anyway, so I've tried again. She didn't get no heat, wouldn't start, cut out. Started again, no heat, cut out. I tried starting her about 5 times. This morning I took the tank out, tried starting her, and tunk, 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 the pump started ticking, no heat. Eventually she cuts out again. As the pump's ticking, I notice here, every time the pump ticks fuel up through the pump, a little drip there, tick, tick, tick. So obviously the pump is pumping fuel. Okay, now the fuel got to be going. When I took this pipe off the fuel, there was fuel. As I tipped it down here, fuel come out. Right, so there's definitely fuel there. Okay, right. So the fuel's going into the fire, let's assume. But we're getting no heat. Okay, you said the glow plug's gone, but the glow plug is staying lit, no problem. So then I take the fire out. So now I get the fire out, turn her upside down. Now all the fuel has gone in and hasn't burnt. You'd expect it to be steaming out. But the exhaust is bone dry. I mean, fucking bone dry. Blow through there is clear. There's no air blockage, nothing. No trouble blowing through it at all. Tip it about any which way you want, and all the times I've tried starting it, that should be filled up with fuel. Okay? Why isn't it filled up with fuel, and why isn't the fire starting? Because there's nothing wrong with it. I'll let you think about that while I go and play, because I think I know the answer, and I'll tell you it after I fitted it and it started. So part 2 will be coming up later. Okay, there you go. The pump has started. I fitted her back in temporarily, as I said. The glow plug's lit. The pump's pumping. Cold air, no heat at all. So I'm still getting the same problem. But we'll leave it running a little bit longer this time because it does not make sense. If the glow plug was gone, I'd expect it to give me an E-warning. Now the fan is trying to pick up this time. See what I mean now about this filter? Every time the pump pumps, there's fuel coming into the filter, which means there's fuel going up out of the pipe. So if there's fuel going up out of the pipe and into the fire, like it was earlier, how come the fire is not full up with fuel? And it's still saying the glow plug is lit out there. Obviously it's still lit because it's not getting any heat. And it's not getting any heat because, as we know, there's no fuel going into the fire. So if there's no fuel going into the fire, it's going through here, it's going through the pump, it's coming out the pump, it's going into the pipe, out of the pipe that goes into the fire. It's disappearing through the Bermuda Triangle. There's no fuel in the exhaust. You tell me, where's the fuel going? Does not make sense. I would say the glow plug can't be burning because there's no heat, but in that case there would be loads and loads and loads of fuel unburnt in the fire, and there isn't. Okay, riddle me that fucker then, boys, because I fucked if I could figure it out. She's ticking away, tick, 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 tick. The fan's going. There's no heat being produced. Now she's cut out, she's stopped. If I leave her, she'll die down and she'll kick on and come on again in a minute. I'll leave her, hang on, I'll cut the camera while I'm waiting for it. Well, it looks like she's not going to restart this time. So I'm going to cut her out for a minute. And I'm going to do it the wrong way by just cutting off the switch. Power off. Now I'm going to check her and start her again. Okay, pull the plug. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start her enough time so as in theory this thing will be filled with fucking fuel. She should be chocker, pucker, blocked with fuel. Right, I'm going to do this half a dozen times and I'll start this camera again. Okay, open out for a minute. Okay, so she still didn't light. Everything's working. The fuel's going through the pipe, it's going into the thing. It's just that when you take the fire out, there's none inside the fire. So where's it gone? It's gone into the Bermuda Triangle. The only thing I can suggest is it's evaporated, but diesel don't evaporate that quick. But other shit does. And I had this diesel given me. And I've just put some on this rag. No, it's definitely diesel. Right, the diesel in the tank's definitely igniting. But just now, I took some of the diesel out of the pump at the pump end. That was the stuff that was going in, actually going into the fire, and it wouldn't burn. Now this straight out of the top of the tank is burning. So what I'm assuming, I'm wondering if water can be immersed, or other chemicals could be immersed in it, and it's at the bottom of the tank, which is what is now. As I put it in the tank, let me explain. Over the weeks I've been burning this fuel, but if it's got some funny sort of additive that semi-floats in the diesel, when I first put that diesel in, the tank was filled up to here and I topped her up. So let's assume the level of this semi-floating shitty water would have went to say here. Next time I topped it up, it would have come up to here. Next time I topped it up, the tank was getting low. So I topped it up and it's been burning all right, but then the fuel's gone back down. Has it now gone below this level of whatever it is immersed in the diesel? But it's stopping it burning. And I think when it's going into the fire, it's evaporating. So what could have been in that diesel? So what I'm doing now, I'm going out to buy a can of diesel, put fresh diesel in, replete the system, and I think the fire should go. Anyway, let's go and get diesel and point out. Okay, I'm back from the garage now. I've got a can of diesel. I'm going to put it in the tank. I'm going to suck all the shite out of the fuel line and I'm going to start again as if the fire was being started from new. Can I just reiterate on what I was saying? Over the weeks, as I've added this shit fuel I was given, it might have some additive in it that's made it not very burnable. But when I first topped the fire up, I still had quite a lot of my own diesel here. So every time I put it in, did it thin it down so it was losing its burning ability more and more each time. And I will add one thing I thought about, and I can't remember. The last couple of times I had the fire going, I remember putting my hand up and thinking, that heater ain't as hot as it normally gets. And once it did cut out as if it didn't have enough heat, but then it restarted straight away. So as I've been adding this, and the concentration of that shit diesel been getting worse and worse and worse, is that why it's now got to the point where it will not burn, because the mixture's not enough. There's too much of that and not enough of my diesel. Anyway, it isn't water, because if it was water, you would see the level of water. So it's something that must immerse in the diesel and semi-float at the bottom of the diesel. And each time I've added it, the level's got higher and higher, but eventually that level's come down and the pump's picking it up. I just can't figure it out, but that's all I can say is the fuel that was coming out of the pipe from the pump wouldn't burn. The fuel I took out of here burnt, as you've seen in the sink. So now let's start again with all fresh diesel. But all I can assume is that whatever this liquid is, it's been going into that fire and it's just been evaporating from the pan. The only explanation. Let's put it back together with new diesel and see if she starts. Fingers crossed for me, guys. Okay, that stuff that come out of the filter, I've just got it there. Let's see if it's going to ignite. See? It's not diesel. Whatever it is in that tank immersed in with the diesel is not burning. And the story, I think we found the answer. Let's put it back together, put the new diesel in, and we'll see what we got. Okay guys, fingers crossed for me again. Okay, I put it all back together. She's all plumbed in, all wired in, all new diesel. All I need to do now is get the thing primed up. I usually suck the fuel up, but I forgot to do it, so I'm going to prime it all the way. Let's see how it goes. I've got the fire in, and she's all ready to be primed up. So let's see if I can remember how to prime her. I'm going to shut that because otherwise you won't see the instruction box. If I remember right, let's turn the power on. And then we're looking for H off or H somewhat if I remember right. So it's down arrow and hold it. No, it wasn't. I thought it was 2 buttons, so it's down and OK together. H off, that's it. Start the pump, press that one. Now you'll hear the pump pumping. And there's the fuel going up into the thing now. So I'm going to stop her because I think the fuel's off. Off. Right, that's okay. Okay, so she's primed, there's enough fuel up into the top. So now it's just a matter of see if she's going to start. So let's have the control box. Press the on button and she's on. We have everything running, the fan's running, and 2 vents are clear, pump's primed. Okay, so we have everything we need to be seeing, we are seeing. So I would hope now as soon as the pump goes click, click, but the thing that's baffling me is there's 1 heat bar on. She hasn't even started yet. So cold air coming out the fan as we'd be expected. We're just waiting for the pump to kick in. Assuming the glow plug's going to get out the temperature, which is usually about now. Come on, baby. She's got to start. We know the pump's connected because we've had it primed. Glow plug is lit. Come on. It doesn't normally take this long. So let's hope by all that stopping and starting when she won't working, I haven't fucked her up. There's the pump now. Thank God. Now as you can see, the pump has kicked in. Now I would hope for the air to start feeling a bit warm. Just hope there's enough diesel primed up in. I'm going to stop her for a minute while I'm waiting for this because I need to check the fire, but that's I'm not going to waste the camera. Well, she was just burning again, tick tick tick, and she was going out burning, tick tick tick, and no, there was no heat. So I thought, well, I know there's nothing wrong with her. Is it because now the shit that's in the pipe that goes, the actual bit of pipe that goes from where the fuel line goes onto the thing to the actual burner, was that still full of that shit fuel? And for that first attempt she didn't want to burn because it was still pumping that shit stuff. So because the heat didn't build up, she ran out of her burn time. So now I put it out in the end. I thought, shit or bust, and I started her again. So I started her again, and she just tick, tick, nothing happening. And then all of a sudden, that bit of fuel that was in that burn, and you know these burn quite a long time on fuel, that bit of fuel that was in that burn pipe inside the machine must have eventually gone out, and all of a sudden I heard how she starts burning. And there you are, you got it warm there. So now hopefully she's picking up. You must be able to hear her. So all I can say, guys, is the only additive you get in your fuel ain't always water. It's something that can be semi-immersed. What the hell could it be? I do not know. But that fuel come out of the boat, and it was a right state. I drained it, got all the shit out of it, got all the water out of it, and what was left I added to this fire. But as I say, when I first added some of it to this fire, the fire was full up, so it wouldn't have diluted it enough to stop it burning. But after about 5 burns, and after topping it up a couple of times from that shit can, I did notice the heat wasn't as hot as what it would normally be. So is that because the dilution was getting more and more each time and burning less and less, until it got to the point where the dilution was so bad it wouldn't burn at all, but it still looked like diesel going through the pipe. And as I say, so in future, guys, don't just look for water additive fucking your diesel up. There's other things that can do it as well. If anybody got a clue what it could be, as I say, that fuel will come out of an old boat. Does something happen to diesel over a period? I did hear that it sinks to the bottom of the drum. Diesel can go off and it sinks to the bottom of the drum. So that drum was sat on this boat for about 5 months, did whatever it was in there, sink to the bottom, and every time I tipped it off I was using what was on top of the drum until it was all gone, and then the diluted shit. Anyway, that's the problem, guys. There she is, she's up and running. Thank God, if you've ever seen my video of this fire, you'll know that I have her in such a way that the works. I'll do the film of it now. I'll put it all back and I'll video it and show you it. But I can get the fire out in no time flat for emergencies. So thank God it was easy to get out and repair. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did. And I hope it helps somebody else. Don't just look for water. As I say, there's other shit that can fuck your fuel up. Petethewrist over and out for now. Cheers, guys.